The rain had a way of swallowing sound in the town of Evermill, soft enough to lull you, heavy enough to erase the things you wished you'd heard. But on that night, the only thing louder than the storm was the fear pounding inside Adrian Cole's chest. He stood at the edge of the driveway, staring at the house he'd grown up in. It looked the same as it had when he left it 8 years ago. White paint, bowed porch, the crooked weather vane shaped like a crow his father always hated but never removed. He shouldn't have returned. He had promised himself he never would. But promises break easily when the dead refuse to stay silent. Adrian swallowed hard, gripping the duffel bag on his shoulder. The storm cracked open above him, lightning flashing across the roof. For one brief second, he thought he saw someone standing in the upstairs window. A silhouette, thin, still, watching. His breath hitched. He blinked, and the window was empty. "Good start," he muttered under his breath. He pushed the front door open. It groaned the same way it did when he was a kid sneaking in past midnight. But the smell hit him first: old wood, cold air, and something faintly metallic. He stepped inside. The door shut behind him, louder than it should have. The house was too quiet. Not peacefully quiet, but the kind of stillness that presses against your ears, waiting for you to make the first mistake. Adrian exhaled shakily and turned on the flashlight he'd brought. Its beam cut through the darkness, revealing sheets draped over furniture like ghosts frozen mid-movement. Dust hung in the air. He walked deeper into the living room. "Dad!" he called out automatically. No answer. Of course not. His father had been dead 2 weeks. Yet, someone had called him last night. Someone using his father's number. Someone whispering his name. That was the only reason Adrian came back. His phone buzzed. Unknown number. He froze. Slowly, he lifted it. A voicemail notification blinked. New message. 12 seconds. His stomach clenched. The last one was 11 seconds. Hands trembling, he pressed play. Static. Then a voice. Low. Ragged. Familiar. "Adrian, don't let it out." His legs weakened. That was his father's voice. The message ended abruptly. No breathing. No background noise. Just the warning. His father had died alone in this house. Heart failure, the coroner said. But Adrian wasn't sure anymore. Something creaked upstairs. A slow, dragging sound. Footsteps. No, too soft. Too deliberate. His flashlight flickered. The dragging stopped. Adrian forced himself to breathe. "It's just the house settling," he whispered, though he didn't believe it for a second. He remembered the silhouette he saw in the window. Maybe he wasn't alone. He moved toward the staircase. Each step groaned beneath him like it remembered his weight. The railing felt cold, colder than it should. Halfway up, he paused. The air shifted, dense, heavy, like stepping into a room where someone had just been crying. Then he heard it. A whisper. Right above him. "Adrian!" He spun around, flashlight jerking. Nothing. But his heart felt like it suffered a blow. Because that whisper, that wasn't his dad's voice. It was a child's. His throat tightened. Slowly, he reached the top of the stairs. The hallway stretched before him, dark as ink, familiar yet wrong. The first door on the right was his childhood room. The second was the guest room. And the third, his father's room. The door was open. Barely. Just enough to reveal a sliver of black. His flashlight trembled as he approached it. Then, a sudden bang echoed downstairs. Something fell. Maybe shattered. Adrian jumped. He turned back toward the stairs, torn between flight and curiosity that bordered on self-destruction. Thunder shook the windows. After a moment of shaking breaths, he went into his father's room. The smell hit him instantly. Old clothes, stale air, and something sweet, almost sickeningly so, like wilted flowers rotting in water. His father's bed was unmade. That was strange. The coroner had told him they found the body on the floor, not the bed. On the nightstand sat an object that didn't belong there. A small wooden box. Dark. Polished. Closed with a rusted brass latch. Adrian felt something twist in his chest. He knew that box. He had seen it only once, in his father's hands, the night his mother disappeared. A memory stabbed through him. His father stumbling into the house, clutching the same box, soaked in rain, wild-eyed, whispering, "Don't ever open it." His mother's dead body was found 3 days later in the river. He had been 8. Adrian's finger hovered over the latch. "Don't let it out." His father's voice echoed in his head. He stepped back. No, not yet. He couldn't. Before he could turn toward the hallway. Footsteps. Not dragging this time. Fast. Running. But not toward him. Away. Down the hall. Into the darkness. Adrian's breath caught. Wait. He sprinted into the hallway, flashlight swinging wildly. No one. Then he saw it. A door at the end of the hall was slightly open. The attic. His chest tightened with a fear that tasted metallic. "Of course," he muttered. "Of course it's the attic." He approached slowly. His hand reached up, gripping the string to pull the stairs down. He hesitated. Something dripped onto his wrist. Warm. He looked up. For a split second, he saw a hand. Small. Pale. Pressed against the attic door from the inside. Then it vanished. Adrian stumbled back, heart slamming. He should leave. Call someone. Run. Burn the house down. Anything. Instead, he pulled the string. The stairs dropped with a heavy thud. A cold blast of air hit him, so cold it bit his skin. He swallowed the rising nausea and climbed. The attic was pitch black except for the beam of his flashlight slicing through it. Dust floated like snowflakes. Old boxes lined the corners. But the center of the attic was empty, except for a circle drawn on the floor. Charcoal black. Symbols he didn't recognize. And in the center, a single toy. A tiny stuffed bear. Missing one eye. His mother had given him that bear when he was 5. He lost it the night she died. Adrian's mouth dried. His hand shook. What is this?" A voice whispered behind him, so close it brushed his neck. "You left me." He spun around, terrified, and froze. A child stood 5 feet away. Pale skin, wet hair, bare feet, eyes black as ink. The same clothes she wore the night she drowned. His sister, Lila, dead at age 6. Adrian choked on a sob. "No. Lila died. Lila died with Mom." The girl tilted her head. Her eyes gleamed. Her voice was layered, one child's voice, one older, deeper, rotting beneath. "We never left." The attic door slammed shut behind him. Adrian stumbled back, nearly falling over the circle. "Lila. Lila, listen to me, please." Her face twitched. Her mouth opened too wide. And a voice spilled out, not hers. "Open the box." Adrian's heart stopped. "No," he whispered. "Dad said. Open it." Her scream hit him like a blow. The attic vibrated. The air curdled. He bolted for the stairs. But the attic floor warped, bending like a breathing chest. The circle pulsed. Hands, small, pale, impossible, burst from the cracks trying to grab him. Adrian let out a broken cry and dove down the stairs, tumbling hard, crashing onto the hallway floor. He scrambled up. The house shook. Whispers filled the walls. "Open it! Open it! Open it!" He ran into his father's room. The box sat on the nightstand. Cold. Still. Waiting. The house's lights flickered violently, though none had worked when he arrived. A shadow slid across the ceiling. Moving. Shifting shape. Adrian's pulse roared in his ears. "I can't," he whispered. "I won't." The shadow stopped. Silence. Then a voice, his father's, spoke behind him. Soft. Broken. terrified. Son, I tried to protect you. Adrian froze. Slowly, he turned. His father stood in the doorway. But not alive. Not solid. A figure of flickering light, trembling like a weakened flame. Adrian's throat closed. Dad. His father looked at him with regret carved into every line of his flickering face. It followed us from the river. It took your mother. It took Lila. And it wanted you. Adrian shook his head, tears burning. Why didn't you tell me? Because you would have come back. The shadow on the ceiling stretched, cracking the plaster. His father continued, voice straining against some invisible pressure. I trapped it. I bound it inside the box. It needs a living host to survive. And it wants you, Adrian. You can't open it. The shadow grew thicker, darker. A shape of something that never belonged to this world. But it can open itself, if you hesitate. The latch clicked. Adrian's blood ran cold. The box was opening. Very slowly. From the inside. No. His father lunged forward, grabbing Adrian's shoulders. Run. I'm not leaving you. Adrian cried. His father's face twisted with grief. I'm already gone. The box burst open. Black smoke exploded upward like a starving creature finally freed. The shadow swallowed the ceiling. A scream, Lila's scream, ripped through the house. Adrian bolted down the stairs, stumbling, shaking, blinded by terror. The floorboards cracked behind him, the house seemingly bending, contorting, chasing him with every impossible movement. He reached the front door. It slammed shut in his face. He grabbed the handle. It burned his skin. The voice that spilled through the house was not human. You belong to us. The walls rippled like flesh. Dark veins spread across the wallpaper. Shadows reached for him. He ran toward the kitchen, throwing himself behind the counter, gasping. The lights flickered overhead, phasing in and out with a rapid stutter like the house was glitching. He spotted something on the fridge. A line of magnets. But not random. They spelled a sentence. Don't look behind you. Adrian froze. Every muscle locked. The kitchen became silent. Empty. Still. He didn't breathe. Then, a soft exhale behind him. Warm. Wrong. He slowly turned his eyes. A figure stood inches away. Human-shaped. But hollow. Black smoke leaking from cracks in its body like it was wearing human skin for the first time and failing. Its voice vibrated through the room. Come home, Adrian. The creature lunged. Adrian grabbed the nearest thing, a cast-iron skillet, swinging wildly. It passed through the creature like slicing fog, but the fog screamed, recoiling. He sprinted toward the basement door and yanked it open. Darkness. He didn't think. He ran. He slammed the door shut and locked it behind him. For a moment, silence. Then pounding. Ceiling, walls, floor. The house shook violently. Adrian stumbled down the basement steps, gripping the railing. His flashlight flickered again. But something else glowed in the darkness. A circle. Chalk. Symbols. Just like the one in the attic. Inside it, a journal. His father's. Adrian grabbed it with trembling hands and flipped it open. Pages filled with frantic handwriting. It feeds on memory. It mimics voices. Lila is not Lila. Do not believe anything it shows you. It survives by breaking the last living member of a bloodline. Adrian's heart dropped. He was the last. A page near the end made him freeze. It can only possess you if you accept its memory as real. A sudden whisper slithered through the basement. Adrian, help me. His mother's voice. He clenched his jaw. No, you're not her. Please, don't leave me again. He backed away, shaking. The lights strobed violently. Then, the creature slid down the walls like liquid shadow, pooling on the basement floor and rising again into a distorted shape. It moved closer, twisting its body into his mother's form, then Lila's, then his father's, switching faces like trying on masks. Adrian stumbled back, voice cracking, "Stop! Stop!" The creature grinned through a patchwork face. "Open your eyes to what you lost." And suddenly, Adrian wasn't in the basement. He stood beside the river. The night his mother died. Rain pouring. His father screaming. Lila crying. He saw everything. Felt everything. He watched the black shadow drag his mother into the water. Saw his sister reaching for him. Begging for help. Before being pulled under too. He dropped to his knees, sobbing. "It was my fault. I should have." The creature's voice slithered beside him. "Say it. Say you lost them because you left them." Adrian bowed his head, trembling. If he said it, if he accepted this memory, it would own him. He closed his eyes, took a shaking breath, and whispered, "This isn't real." The illusion shattered like glass. He fell back into the basement, gasping. The creature screamed, an inhuman sound that shook the air. Adrian stood, wiping tears from his face, his voice steadier. "You can show me anything, but it doesn't belong to me anymore." The creature lunged. Adrian stepped into the chalk circle. The air crackled. The creature slammed into an invisible barrier, shrieking. Adrian opened the journal, flipped to the last page. A bloodline ends when the last survivor chooses courage over memory. He looked up at the roaring shadow. "I'm not afraid of you." The house howled. Windows shattered. Darkness thrashed. The creature's form split, tearing apart like rotten fabric. Adrian shouted over the roar, "You don't own me!" And then, light. Blinding, white, pure. The creature dissolved with a final, agonized scream. The house fell silent. For the first time in 20 years. Adrian collapsed to the floor, sobbing, shaking, aching, but freed. Above him, the basement door slowly creaked open. Sunlight spilled down the stairs. He stood, breathing deeply. The house no longer felt cold. It felt empty. Truly empty. He walked upstairs slowly. The front door was open. The storm was gone. He stepped outside, into fresh air. Behind him, the house that stole his family groaned one last time. Then the roof sagged. A beam cracked. The walls buckled. And the entire structure collapsed inward, as if exhaling after years of holding something unspeakable inside. Adrian watched it fall. Tears streamed down his face. But he didn't feel broken. For the first time, he felt whole. The wind brushed past him, warm and gentle. And he swore. Just for a second. He heard a small voice whisper, "Thank you, big brother." Adrian closed his eyes. A soft smile touched his lips. He turned away from the ruins and walked into the sunrise.